5. Hidden dangers of traveling. After 70, that every senior must know before their next trip. Considering travel in your senior years is a significant decision, one often filled with the promise of adventure, new discoveries, and cherished memories. While the allure of exploring new places and immersing oneself in different cultures remains strong, it's crucial for seniors to acknowledge and carefully consider the distinct challenges and potential risks that travel presents after the age of 70. The reality is that as we age, our bodies and minds undergo various changes that can transform what might have been a comfortable journey in younger years into an experience fraught with unexpected difficulties, heightened stress, and even serious dangers. Many seniors only truly grasp these complexities when they are already entangled in them, often far from home and familiar support systems. The assumption that one can simply maintain the same travel pace and routine as in their younger years is a common misconception, overlooking the unique physiological, logistical, and financial hurdles that uniquely impact older travelers. This comprehensive discussion will illuminate 5 critical reasons why venturing abroad or even domestically after 70 demands exceptional caution, moving beyond general concerns to reveal the specific intricacies that can turn a dream vacation into a demanding, costly, or even perilous ordeal. By delving into these multifaceted challenges, from the unexpected emergence of health crises to the often overlooked financial pitfalls, every senior can gain a clearer understanding of the profound need for meticulous planning, informed decision-making, and proactive safety measures. Ultimately, this insight aims to empower older adults to make well-considered choices about their travel aspirations, ensuring that if they do embark on a journey, they are equipped to navigate it with the utmost safety and peace of mind. Understanding that the most unexpected challenge can often be the most costly, not just in financial terms, but in time and overall well-being. The first and arguably most significant concern when considering travel after the age of 70 is the exponentially increased risk of sudden health issues and medical emergencies. With each passing year, the human body undergoes natural changes that can render it less resilient and more susceptible to unforeseen health complications. Conditions such as heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and respiratory problems, which may be well managed at home, can destabilize rapidly when subjected to the stresses of travel. Factors like changes in air pressure during flights, altered sleep patterns, unfamiliar diets, and varying environmental conditions can act as potent triggers, transforming latent conditions into acute emergencies without warning. The ease of accessing immediate medical care, a luxury often taken for granted in one's home country, becomes a formidable challenge when traveling, particularly in unfamiliar locales or foreign nations, where healthcare systems, language barriers, and standards of care can differ dramatically. A seemingly minor health concern that would be quickly and efficiently resolved with one's regular physician can escalate into a critical, even life-threatening situation when proper medical intervention is delayed or unavailable. The theoretical risk of a medical emergency is, for many seniors, a very tangible and present danger. Long-haul flights, for instance, significantly elevate the risk of deep vein thrombosis, DVT, dangerous blood clots that can form in the legs due to prolonged immobility, especially for those with existing circulatory issues. Furthermore, travel to high-altitude destinations can place severe strain on the cardiovascular and respiratory systems, particularly for individuals with pre-existing heart or lung conditions. Even seemingly benign environmental factors like dehydration or heat exhaustion, which might be mild nuisances for younger individuals, can have severe debilitating consequences for older adults whose bodies regulate temperature and fluid balance less efficiently, especially in an unfamiliar and potentially extreme climate. Seniors also possess a naturally weakened immune system, rendering them more vulnerable to infections. This means exposure to novel bacteria, viruses, and pathogens in different geographical locations can lead to unexpected and often more severe illnesses compared to younger travelers. Consider the poignant experience of James, a spry 74-year-old who cherished travel throughout his life. He meticulously planned a 2-week cruise with his wife, envisioning it as a perfectly relaxing way to explore new horizons without excessive physical exertion. However, on the 4th day of their voyage, James was suddenly afflicted with severe chest pain. The ship's medical staff, while competent, could only provide basic stabilization. His condition clearly required immediate hospital-level care. Being in the vastness of the open ocean presented an insurmountable logistical hurdle, necessitating an emergency evacuation to the nearest port, a process that agonizingly delayed specialized medical treatment by many critical hours. Although James ultimately survived, the harrowing ordeal left an indelible mark, transforming what was meant to be a joyous journey into a terrifying struggle for survival. He later candidly admitted that a more thorough consideration of the inherent risks might have averted such a traumatic experience. This highlights a crucial point regarding medical insurance. Many seniors erroneously assume their domestic health coverage will seamlessly extend to their travel destinations, only to discover, often at the most inconvenient and stressful moment, that they are not covered for medical treatment abroad. Without the proper comprehensive travel insurance, hospital admissions, emergency surgeries, and even the cost of essential prescription medications can result in astronomical out-of-pocket expenses, potentially draining years of carefully accumulated savings. It is not uncommon for seniors in such situations to face bills amounting to tens of thousands of dollars just to receive necessary medical attention while overseas. Therefore, for any senior over 70 contemplating travel, the first and most vital step is a comprehensive consultation with their primary physician. This should include a full health assessment, a frank discussion of any potential travel-related risks specific to their medical history, and confirmation that all necessary medications are packed in sufficient quantities, along with copies of prescriptions and a detailed medical history. Thorough research into the healthcare system and medical facilities at the chosen destination is paramount. If traveling internationally, investing in a robust travel insurance policy that explicitly covers emergency medical evacuations, hospital stays, and pre-existing conditions is not merely advisable but absolutely essential. In matters of health during travel, proactive preparation is the linchpin that differentiates between a smooth, enjoyable journey and a regrettable, potentially catastrophic disaster. Beyond the acute risk of medical emergencies, the second significant danger for seniors traveling after 70 is the increased and often overlooked exposure to a myriad of infections and contaminants. Our modern world, with its densely populated travel hubs and diverse culinary experiences, creates fertile ground for the proliferation of germs, viruses, and foodborne illnesses. Crowded environments such as bustling airports, packed airplanes, public transportation systems, and even unfamiliar restaurants all contribute to an ecosystem where bacteria and viruses thrive, ready to be transmitted. For younger, healthier travelers, a minor cold or a fleeting stomach bug might represent little more than a temporary inconvenience, quickly overcome by a robust immune system. However, for older adults, these same infections can precipitate far more severe complications, leading to prolonged illnesses, hospitalizations, or even long-term health setbacks that erode their quality of life. A single trip can expose an older individual to a greater variety and volume of pathogens than they might typically encounter over several months within the safety and familiarity of their home environment. The critical difference lies in the aging immune system, which naturally weakens over time, making it less effective at identifying, fighting off, and recovering from infections. Respiratory illnesses in particular pose an elevated and substantial risk to older adults. Extensive studies have unequivocally demonstrated that seniors are disproportionately more susceptible to developing serious complications from influenza, pneumonia, and even common colds, especially when exposed to novel strains prevalent in different global regions. Airplanes, often sealed environments with recirculated air, are particularly notorious breeding grounds for germs, as passengers are closely confined for extended periods, sharing the same air. Given that airports serve as convergence points for people from every corner of the world, it becomes alarmingly easy to encounter viruses and bacteria to which one's body has absolutely no prior immunity. Furthermore, the allure of sampling new foods and beverages in foreign countries, while exciting, carries inherent risks for seniors. Unfamiliar ingredients, unique spices, and different cooking methods can often lead to unexpected digestive distress, ranging from mild discomfort to severe foodborne illnesses. Pathogens such as norovirus, E. coli, and salmonella, which can be acquired through contaminated food or water, can strike older adults with significantly greater severity, often resulting in prolonged illness, debilitating dehydration, and a critically weakened immune system. While local populations may have developed a degree of immunity to certain bacteria present in their water supplies, travelers typically lack this acquired protection. Something as seemingly innocuous as drinking tap water, consuming ice made from unfiltered water, or eating fresh salads washed with local water can tragically lead to serious stomach infections, sometimes requiring emergency medical intervention. Beyond food and water, public restrooms, hotel rooms, and rental cars represent other significant reservoirs where germs can linger. Many people mistakenly assume that a visibly clean environment is a sterile one, yet surfaces like door handles, light switches, remote controls, seat belts, and tray tables are frequently touched and rarely disinfected with the thoroughness required to eradicate harmful pathogens. Seniors who rely on mobility aids such as canes or walkers are at an even greater risk as they constantly touch and brace themselves on various public surfaces for balance and support, providing ample opportunities for germ transmission. To mitigate these pervasive risks, seniors for whom travel is deemed unavoidable must adopt an intensified regimen of preventative measures. This includes consistently wearing a high-quality mask in crowded areas like airports and public transport, meticulous and frequent hand washing with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, and carrying alcohol-based hand sanitizer for situations where soap and water are unavailable. It is vital to only consume bottled or reliably filtered water, to avoid raw or undercooked foods in unfamiliar settings, and to prioritize well-cooked meals from reputable establishments. For international travelers, obtaining all recommended vaccinations well in advance of the trip, as advised by a healthcare professional, and carrying a supply of essential over-the-counter and prescription medications for potential stomach issues or respiratory infections is an absolute must. While staying healthy during travel is achievable, it demands unwavering vigilance, comprehensive preparation, and a robust understanding of one's own immune vulnerabilities. The third challenge, travel fatigue and the subsequent recovery difficulties, might seem less dramatic than a medical emergency, but can profoundly diminish the enjoyment and well-being of a trip for seniors. While the prospect of travel often ignites excitement, the physical demands placed upon individuals over 70 can be far more taxing than anticipated. Extended flights, often involving cramped conditions and poor sleep, coupled with early check-ins, the inherent unpredictability of travel schedules, and hours of walking through airports, historical sites, or bustling cities, can culminate in a profound state of exhaustion. Unlike in younger years, where a single night of restorative sleep might suffice to fully recharge the body, older adults frequently discover that travel-induced fatigue lingers for days, or even weeks after returning home. When the body is perpetually tired, nearly every other physiological function suffers. Immune system efficacy declines, coordination and balance worsen, and the overall risk of illness or injury, including falls, dramatically increases. One of the most significant issues seniors encounter while traveling is severe disruption to their sleep patterns. Sleeping in an unfamiliar bed, contending with persistent noise in hotels, or attempting to adjust to multiple time zone changes can make achieving proper, restorative rest nearly impossible. Sleep deprivation is not merely about feeling tired. It critically impairs mental sharpness, weakens the immune system, exacerbates existing health conditions, and even elevates the risk of serious cardiac problems. Research indicates that seniors traveling across several time zones typically require a much longer period to adjust, meaning that jet lag can persist for significantly extended durations compared to younger individuals. This pervasive, lingering exhaustion can utterly transform what should be an enjoyable and enriching trip into a miserable and draining experience, leaving travelers feeling more depleted than rejuvenated. Beyond sleep disruption, the physical strain of travel is a major factor. Prolonged periods of sitting, whether on an airplane, bus, or train, can lead to stiff muscles, swollen joints, and an elevated risk of blood clots, particularly for seniors with underlying arthritis, circulatory issues, or limited mobility. For such individuals, extended travel times can inflict a level of discomfort that persists long after the journey itself has concluded. Even upon reaching the destination, the seemingly simple physical demands of sightseeing, managing and carrying luggage, which may not always be readily assisted, and maintaining pace with scheduled group activities can quickly become overwhelming. What commences as an eagerly anticipated vacation can rapidly degenerate into a constant struggle to keep up, detracting entirely from the intended pleasure. Consider the experience of Richard, a 75-year-old man who had always been an avid traveler. Following his retirement, he and his wife planned a 2-week overseas vacation, confidently assuming it would be as effortlessly enjoyable as their previous trips. However, after a grueling 10-hour flight, the challenge of navigating a labyrinthine, crowded international airport and the shock of adjusting to a 6-hour time difference, Richard felt utterly exhausted before their adventure had even properly begun. By the second day, he struggled with walking long distances, found it nearly impossible to stay alert during guided tours, and constantly required frequent, unplanned breaks. By the time his body finally began to adjust to the new time zone and demands, it was almost time to commence the equally draining journey home. He then spent the subsequent weeks recovering from the trip, rather than savoring its memories. Another subtle yet critical challenge seniors face is the maintenance of their customary diet and hydration levels. Many destinations offer unfamiliar culinary options that can lead to digestive issues, and the vital act of staying adequately hydrated while constantly on the move is frequently overlooked. Dehydration alone can induce profound fatigue, disequilibrium, and confusion, rendering even simple activities feel like monumental efforts. When compounded with insufficient sleep and relentless physical strain, it becomes abundantly clear why many seniors report feeling worse after a trip than they did before it, rather than feeling refreshed and invigorated. The solution, if travel is deemed essential, lies in meticulous planning. Seniors should intentionally schedule ample rest days, prioritize consistent hydration, and steadfastly avoid overcommitting to back-to-back activities. Opting for shorter flights, incorporating strategic layovers to allow for movement and rest, packing nutritious, familiar snacks, and making dedicated time for short naps can significantly mitigate exhaustion. Most importantly, however, is the imperative to candidly acknowledge personal physical limits and adjust travel plans accordingly. For a vacation's true purpose is to be enjoyable and restorative, not an arduous experience requiring weeks of recovery. The physical toll of travel is indeed a serious concern, but it intersects with another hidden danger: the significantly higher risk of falls and injuries, which constitutes the fourth critical point for seniors traveling after 70. As individuals age, a natural decline occurs in key physiological attributes such as balance, muscle strength, sarcopenia, reflex speed, bone density, and visual acuity. These changes collectively render older adults inherently more vulnerable to accidents. While a minor stumble within the familiar confines of one's own home might be quickly brushed off, a fall while traveling, especially in an unfamiliar and potentially unsupported environment, can lead to devastating consequences. Broken bones, severe head injuries, extended hospital stays in foreign healthcare systems, and potentially permanent mobility issues or a profound loss of independence. The stark reality is that a single fall can irrevocably alter the trajectory of a senior's life, transforming what was envisioned as a relaxing and enriching trip into a painful, costly, and emotionally draining ordeal. Many seniors fail to fully appreciate just how fundamentally different and potentially hazardous travel environments can be compared to the safety and accessibility of their home settings. Hotels, cruise ships, and especially historic sites frequently present uneven walking surfaces, dimly lit corridors or staircases, or surprisingly slippery floors that dramatically increase the likelihood of a fall. Numerous popular travel destinations have little to no dedicated accessibility accommodations, meaning that seemingly simple activities like stepping onto a public bus, navigating cobblestone streets, or ascending ancient monuments can transform into unexpected and dangerous hazards. Furthermore, in many parts of the world, emergency medical services, EMS, may not be as rapid, sophisticated, or readily available as they are back home. This means that even a relatively minor injury can take longer to assess and treat, thereby increasing the risk of complications and prolonging suffering. Consider the vivid story of Linda, a spry 78-year-old woman who had harbored a lifelong dream of exploring Europe. She maintained an excellent physical condition for her age, regularly enjoying brisk walks in her neighborhood without any issues. However, upon her arrival in Italy and attempting to navigate the famously steep and uneven streets of historic towns, she quickly discovered that the reality was far more challenging than she had anticipated. One evening, as she stepped off a poorly marked curb in a dimly lit alley, she tragically lost her footing and fell hard, sustaining a severe hip fracture. She was rushed to a local hospital where doctors confirmed the need for immediate surgery. This unforeseen accident not only forced her to prematurely cut short her eagerly awaited trip, but also necessitated months of intensive physical therapy and recovery upon her return home. What was meant to be the trip of a lifetime became a profoundly regrettable experience, one she often wished she had never undertaken. Another significant contributing factor to fall risk is fatigue. Travel frequently involves long, demanding days, irregular meal schedules, and disrupted sleep patterns, all of which critically impair balance, coordination, and reaction times. When the body is tired, reflexes are significantly dulled, making a misstep or stumble far more probable. For seniors living with arthritis or chronic joint pain, prolonged periods of walking through sprawling airports, bustling train stations, or extensive tourist sites can induce swelling, stiffness, and acute discomfort, thereby significantly increasing the risk of a sudden loss of stability. To effectively mitigate these pervasive risks, if travel is deemed necessary, seniors should meticulously choose destinations known for their good accessibility infrastructure. Proactively avoid high-risk areas characterized by uneven or challenging terrain, and always wear appropriate, supportive, and non-slip footwear. Utilizing mobility aids such as walking sticks or canes, investing in high-quality supportive shoes, and ensuring adequate rest throughout the journey can also make a substantial difference in preventing falls. Above all, recognizing and respecting personal physical limitations is paramount, as no temporary pleasure of a trip is worth sacrificing long-term mobility, independence, or overall quality of life. Finally, the fifth and often most insidious danger of traveling after 70 is not merely about health, but the unforeseen and substantial financial risks that accompany it. Many seniors operate under the mistaken belief that if problems arise while traveling, they can simply fall back on their existing insurance policies or their carefully accumulated personal savings. However, the sobering reality is that travel-related medical emergencies, unexpected trip cancellations, and even sophisticated financial scams can deplete a person's bank account far more rapidly and extensively than they could ever imagine. For many older adults, a single unforeseen event can swiftly transform a meticulously planned and budgeted trip into a devastating financial nightmare, leaving them burdened with overwhelming expenses, profound stress, and often long-term financial strain. One of the most significant financial exposures is the cost of medical care abroad. As previously touched upon, a vast number of seniors are unaware that their standard domestic health insurance rarely, if ever, provides comprehensive coverage for medical treatment in foreign countries. This critical oversight means that if one falls ill or sustains an injury while traveling internationally, they could be personally liable for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in medical bills. Even in countries where healthcare costs are generally more affordable, emergency medical evacuations, such as being airlifted from a remote location to a properly equipped hospital, can easily incur costs ranging from tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Without adequate travel insurance that explicitly covers these scenarios, seniors could find themselves in an impossible predicament, forced to either pay an enormous bill out of pocket, potentially sacrificing their life savings, or tragically forgo the critical medical care they desperately need. Beyond immediate medical costs, the issue of trip cancellations represents another significant financial vulnerability. Many seniors responsibly book their trips months in advance, assuming they will remain in good health and capable of travel when the departure date arrives. However, life is inherently unpredictable. Health conditions can emerge suddenly, family emergencies can strike, or unforeseen global events can necessitate a trip's postponement or outright cancellation. Unfortunately, many airlines, hotels, and cruise lines enforce stringent cancellation policies that offer little to no refunds for last-minute changes, particularly if they are not specifically covered by an insurance clause. This means seniors can lose thousands of dollars if they are compelled to alter their plans due to circumstances beyond their control. Without proper trip cancellation insurance, recovering that money can be a nearly impossible feat, leaving them with nothing but a financial loss and unrealized dreams. Adding to medical costs and cancellation fees, there is a serious and growing financial risk from scams and fraud. Seniors are disproportionately targeted by opportunistic scammers who specifically prey on travelers, employing a range of deceptive tactics. These can include operating fake taxi services that overcharge exorbitant rates, selling counterfeit goods at inflated prices, or engaging in far more elaborate schemes designed to steal credit card information, bank details, or entire identities. Many criminals intentionally seek out older adults who appear disoriented, unfamiliar with their surroundings, or generally less assertive, knowing they are less likely to detect a scam unfolding in real time. In some particularly egregious cases, fraudsters entice seniors with fraudulent vacation deals or seemingly irresistible investment opportunities linked to travel, which ultimately prove to be nothing more than an expensive and elaborate trap, robbing them of their hard-earned money. Consider the cautionary tale of George, a prudent 76-year-old man who had always been meticulously careful with his finances. He booked what he believed was a dream vacation to a tropical island, diligently saving for every aspect of the trip. However, upon his arrival, he discovered with crushing disappointment that the luxurious hotel he had booked simply did not exist. He had fallen victim to an online scam, and by the time he realized the full extent of the deception, his money was irretrievably gone. Stranded with nowhere to stay, he was forced to desperately scramble to find alternative accommodation, paying double what he had originally budgeted just to secure a roof over his head. What should have been a relaxing, well-deserved trip transformed into a deeply stressful and financially ruinous ordeal that continued to haunt him long after he returned home. To effectively safeguard themselves, seniors must take several crucial precautions. Firstly, always verify whether existing health insurance provides international coverage, and if it doesn't, invest unequivocally in a robust travel insurance plan that comprehensively covers medical emergencies, emergency medical, evacuations, and trip cancellations, paying close attention to any exclusions related to pre-existing conditions. Secondly, when booking any aspect of a trip, exclusively use reputable companies, travel agents, or well-known booking platforms, and be inherently skeptical of deals that appear too good to be true, as they almost certainly are. Thirdly, practice heightened caution with money and personal information while traveling. Avoid carrying large sums of cash, be extremely mindful of who has access to credit card information, use secure payment methods whenever possible, and never, under any circumstances, trust strangers with personal financial details or documents. Notifying banks and credit card companies of travel plans in advance can also prevent cards from being flagged for suspicious activity. While travel can be immensely exciting and rewarding, these manifold financial risks unequivocally demonstrate that after 70, an extraordinary level of caution, diligence, and foresight is absolutely essential. The unexpected costs, the potential for significant financial loss due to scams, and the sheer unpredictability of health emergencies collectively render travel a gamble that not every senior is adequately prepared to take. Having delved into these 5 major reasons why traveling after 70 comes with serious and often underestimated risks, from unexpected health crises and heightened exposure to infections, to the debilitating effects of travel fatigue, the increased dangers of falls and injuries, and the lurking financial pitfalls, it becomes clear that these are challenges many seniors unfortunately do not fully consider until they are directly confronting them. While travel often represents an exciting and desired way to spend retirement, the reality is that beyond a certain age, it demands an entirely different approach, requiring significantly more meticulous planning, enhanced caution, and a heightened level of awareness than it did in one's younger, more resilient years. However, this does not unequivocally mean that seniors should completely abstain from travel. Rather, it suggests a strategic reevaluation of how they engage with travel. Instead of embarking on exhausting, long-haul flights, enduring overly strenuous tours, or venturing into destinations that present elevated risks or accessibility challenges, it may be far more prudent and beneficial to choose closer, safer, and less physically demanding options. Exploring local attractions, opting for shorter, less complex trips, or focusing on destinations renowned for their excellent accessibility and easy access to high-quality medical care can make a profound difference in both safety and overall enjoyment. The fundamental purpose of travel should be to enrich and enhance life, to create fulfilling experiences and lasting memories, not to inadvertently generate new problems, anxieties, or physical setbacks that linger long after the journey concludes. If you or a cherished loved one are contemplating travel after reaching the age of 70, it is imperative to pause and genuinely reflect upon these potential challenges. Ask yourselves critical, honest questions. Is your current health truly stable and robust enough to comfortably handle the physical and mental demands of the proposed trip? Do you possess the correct and comprehensive travel insurance to adequately protect against potential financial risks, including medical emergencies and cancellations? Have you meticulously chosen a destination that is unequivocally safe, accessible, and well-equipped to meet your specific needs and potential limitations? These questions, though perhaps not as thrilling to ponder as dreaming of exotic locales, are absolutely vital. Answering them with unwavering honesty and a realistic perspective could proactively prevent immense unnecessary stress, profound hardship, and potentially life-altering incidents down the road. Ultimately, the essence of longevity is not merely about extending the number of years in one's life, but critically about ensuring that those years are lived with an enduring sense of quality, unwavering independence, and profound peace of mind. If the conscious decision to avoid certain types of unnecessary or high-risk travel contributes significantly to maintaining better health, greater safety, and an improved quality of life, then it is a decision well worth making and seriously reconsidering before booking that next flight.